tell people all the time, one of the things that you hear a lot in my community is about black on black crime, and that black love is not something that's real, that we don't marry each other, we don't love each other, black fathers are not present. And I'm like, we've been taught to believe that about ourselves, so that while we're also trying to fight off every other group, we can have internal fighting. But when you take a second and you look back, I'm like, I see examples of black love all the time. When people talk about freedom, I always struggle, because when I hear the word freedom, I always think about there's a cost to it. But when I think about liberation, liberation is something so beautiful that every single person can have the ability to exist.
A very valuable property in West Asheville, on what its value is, but some as high as $6 million. The church closed. It ended up with the presbytery voting, 200 and something people voting unanimously to convey ownership of that land to the Reparations Stakeholders Authority at no cost. The Presbyterian Church has been a big carrier of white supremacy, and not in the like icky thing that we like to point to when we think of white supremacy, like those people over there that are the Ku Klux Klan or something, although I'm sure there have been Presbyterians in the Ku Klux Klan.
The Human Grace.
Hello everybody, and welcome to The Human Grace. This is our first episode of a podcast that seeks to really amplify and savor the ways that the human family is healing and growing together. This is a place where we not only want to hear stories and share information, but we want to actually manifest right relationship in the ways that we have conversations here on The Human Grace. So I can't think of a better person to start this journey with than somebody who I call a dear friend and sister in this movement, and an incredible community leader, Tori White Garrison. So Tori, we're gonna have the first chance at this ritual here on The Human Grace that we wanna bring the flame that animates the fire within us to work for change, to work for liberation that is for all. This is what binds us together as a human family. So we can draw on the energy of that flame together.
Yes.
Welcome, Tori.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. This was an easy choice. So Tori is an amazing community leader, as I've already said. She has worked in government settings, nonprofit settings. She's been in organizing settings around labor movements, around organizational movement. And she is the executive director of the Reparations Stakeholders Authority of Asheville, which is a nonprofit that was created after this community made a commitment to reparations for Black Ashevilleans. And so we'll hear a little bit more about RSAA in a little bit, but I'm so glad you're here.
I am glad to be here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Good. Is there anything you would say just quickly about like the RSAA that would help people understand like how reparations in Asheville and Buncombe County really took on like more of a kind of organizational reality? It's not just an idea or something people are talking about.
Yeah, so for us, RSAA is a Black-led organization, and we like to expand the way that people think about reparations and understanding that monetary is a huge part, but it's not the only part when we talk about reparations and we talk about reparative justice. And so for us, we recognize that a lot of what is required for people to be liberated has to be outside of the government. It's going to take a while for the government to atone with the harms that have been done, not just to Black people, but to many groups of people. And so we recognized that and said, hey, we have to do things a little different and teach each other that we can learn history and we don't have to be afraid of the word. And there has to be action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, these are really difficult times for even kind of basic justice issues. So it feels like an especially, just really even dangerous time to kind of be leaning in to this really important conversation and work around reparative justice. And I'm wondering, like, can you think of a moment of late where there was really an embodied kind of eruption of grace, of repair that you were proximate to, that you experienced through your work?
Yeah, I can really think of two big
Okay.
ones, but I'll start with Helene. Helene was a traumatic experience, but what was birthed from community, out of community, was a beautiful experience as well. People who typically would not even communicate with each other were forced to, and recognize that, hey, for the moments that we are without social media, we are without the news, we are without all of the narratives that tell us to hate one another, we have to work together in order to survive at this moment. You know, we had to share our resources, and it made me realize that humanity is possible.
Yes.
It is real, that liberation is possible, that you can love people who are different from you and want the best for people, even when they're different from you, right? And
Yeah.
the safety and everything. And then the other piece was the conveyance of our property in January of this year.
Yes.
Through the Presbytery, through your
Yes.
hard work.
Well, yeah, that was a really spirit-filled moment.
Yes, and for it to be unanimous.
Yes.
And for it to be at the wake, at the beginning of where we are as a country right now.
Yes.
For it to be after Helene had struck. It was so many reasons of why it shouldn't have happened. And for it to happen and to happen so beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just brought me to tears.
Yeah, me too. I'll never forget it. So just so our listeners understand, like, this was a very valuable property in West Asheville, different, figures around what its value is, but some as high as $6 million. It's a location that's in a, kind of up and coming neighborhood and with a lot of cool restaurants. And this had been a Presbyterian church for many decades. And the church closed, and then I was on the administrative commission that was charged with figuring out what should happen with this property. And to make a very long story short, it ended up with the presbytery voting. That was about 200 and something people voting unanimously to convey ownership of that land to the Reparations Stakeholders Authority at no cost.
Yes.
So it was a very historic act of repair.
Yeah, and the boldest act that has happened in our community.
Yeah.
Like, for the presbytery to literally take action and put action behind the words and show people that this can happen, and it wasn't forced by government, it wasn't ordained by government. It was really the power of coming together, having hard conversations, and being able to root our spirits in just facts.
Yeah, and some of the facts that we learned, and all of us were sort of learning together. I mean, you knew some of the history, some former members of West Asheville Presbyterian knew some history, but then we learned some history together around how that land came to be West Asheville Presbyterians, and it was basically because it was taken away from a black congregation during a period of Asheville's history in which they were buying into this city planning model that was basically about segregating Asheville by race. This was in the 1920s and 30s, and Wilson's Chapel had to abruptly uproot their congregation.
Yeah.
They had to literally exhume graves of their loved ones that were buried there, probably some that were previously enslaved people, and they had 90 days to move. And that's how West Asheville Presbyterian then moved into that place, that land. And so once we learned this history, we knew that it needed to be black people who made the decision about what would happen next. This all sounds really beautiful, Tori, but it wasn't beautiful at different times. For some of the embodied practice of grace in that process for me was staying in it in really difficult situations when it didn't feel like, it just felt like we kept running up against roadblocks, or we kept running up against resistance that happens for white people, and the grace of staying in it.
Yeah,
when it
definitely
didn't feel good.
Yeah, because we could have all chosen to literally let our differences overshadow the work and walk away angry and never come back to the table. But with intention, we kept showing up, you know, and even when people may have had different emotions or different beliefs or different thoughts around what was being said and having to do that internal battle, we found a way to still move it forward.
Yeah.
You know, and that's beautiful, and it's something that I hope more people can see and more people can experience and more people can go out and duplicate.
Yes.
And it may not be at the magnitude of a property like this, but even shifting just some resources, shifting the ability to understand that, hey, in this situation, I may have power or privilege, and it's okay for me to remove that from myself and give it to someone who doesn't have it.
Right. Right. And again, the embodied practice of the grace that lives within each of us. Because, there were many times when I, as a person in a white body, felt like if I were you, Tori, I'd be like, bye. You know, I'm done with y'all. This is like tedious that we're having to have this conversation again.
And remember, there was a time
yes,
that
you were.
I said,
And there was a time when I was. We both did. And I think I experienced so much grace in the process too, and I then had to extend grace, but there was a reciprocity to it, and I feel like the turning point was really our conversation about shared values, and that's where people really kind of started to get on board with, oh, okay, now I'm seeing what this could be. Like we're doing this because of these values that we hold dear together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not an opportunity that everyone gets.
Yes.
To sit down with people who you may believe you don't have any type of connection to or understanding of, and be able to just say at the basic level, we want the same exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the basic level.
Yeah.
But we're always taught so much to look at everything that makes us different, when in reality, there are so many things that make us the same. You know, that we want to be able to raise our kids and they become adults, right? We want to be able to feed our kids. We want to be able to choose family.
Yeah.
We want to be able to go to work and make a living wage.
Yeah.
All of these
All these things. And I do believe at our very heart, we want to be in right relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, there are ways in which kind of white-led collectives can be driven a lot by guilt or reactivity. And I think one of the things that made the moment of conveyance at that meeting with over 200 people and a unanimous vote, what made it feel really sacred was it didn't feel reactive. It felt very responsive. It felt very clean. It was kind of a way to metabolize, as Resma Menachem says, who wrote My Grandmother's Hands, we were like metabolizing ancestral pain in a clean way. We were going through it and instead of trying to bypass.
Yeah.
And we went through it in a way that I do feel like the hurricane kind of like pushed it along, and it helped us kind of come back to this very elemental, grounded place of, this is the right thing to do. And it feels good. And everybody in that room felt good. They felt good. You could feel it.
You could.
Yeah.
You could feel the love.
Yeah.
So, like, it was just I don't know, like, I think we were looking at each other and, like, just waiting for someone to say something.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait a minute.
Nobody did.
Nobody said anything. And just falling to my knees and the tears and just like, we really did this.
And that's when I said to the person standing next to me, there is a God. God is real, because this just happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do such a beautiful job of describing what is reparative about our engagement with one another. What about this experience that we shared is reparative? What is repair when it comes to, the things that break us apart? And I mean, race is a big one, right?
Yeah.
But race is just a cover for greed, And so what was reparative from your experience about that day?
That day was people not knowing me, I had brief talks with some, or the people who may have jumped on our Zoom calls, but for the majority, it was my first time ever experiencing them. It was my first time ever coming into their space. And I think it started off being able to worship together.
Yeah.
I think was beautiful. And being able to pray together, like before all the business started, just being able to center ourselves in why we're here. And then see people during a time that the news continuously is telling us how we should hate one another. Being in space and just feeling nothing but love, not feeling fear, not feeling resentment, not feeling discouraged. It was just, it was absolutely beautiful, and it was something that I had not experienced before. It wasn't, even after it happened, the amount of people that came up just to hug and say, if you need anything, I'm here. Or if you need support in any way, or, like that. That's not, beautiful. Well, what are you going to do?
Right.
Well,
or here's what I think you should do.
Exactly. It was literally love.
And joy.
And joy. And in that moment, I felt liberation. Like when people talk about freedom, I always struggle because when I hear the word freedom, I always think about there's a cost to it, right? But when I think about liberation, liberation is something so beautiful that every single person can have the ability to exist and thrive, and it not be in fear of who you are. Like it's just literally love of thyself and one another.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I felt liberated.
If you're enjoying this episode, click on subscribe. It helps other people find out about our podcast, and it helps us know that you're with us. Now back to the episode. Yeah, there was something so deeply healing about it. And it did feel, there was a visceral sensation for me of something lifting, something elevating. Some of it was some kind of release and deep satisfaction. But another was almost otherworldly, or something that I've never felt before, of just this space of, for a moment, perfect resonance with each other. And that is something our bodies download into the hard drive. You know, I believe that's part of the embodied experience of the human grace, is that our bodies start to learn, oh, as dangerous as the world is, that was a space where I could trust. I could trust that moment. I could trust the people that were there. Maybe I can't trust them all the time or with everything, but in that moment, we really trusted each other.
Yeah.
And that is deeply healing on a plane, on an energy field that isn't just for one person or two people or whatever. It is a collective experience that changes the whole human race. Like it's, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that what we did was medicine for everybody.
Yeah. And to have it done in a church.
Yes.
Where the church has been a warfare for so many people, an internal warfare, where the church has been used against a lot of people, and to see that play out. And it's like all the reminders that happen. And I think I had talked about like, I wish my grandma was here to witness this. And then I remember texting you after, can this be reversed?
You're like, is this real?
Yeah, like it took a moment.
Right, to really trust it. Yeah.
It did. And to know that we were able to do it while literally the city and the county is still going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And the country too.
And we're like showing this in real time.
Yes.
And showing people that it actually is possible.
Yes.
It actually is possible.
And as a multi-generational Presbyterian and multi-generational Presbyterian pastor for my family, but somebody who's all my ancestors have been Presbyterian or, you know, Protestant somehow, like in the American context, the Presbyterian Church has been a big carrier of white supremacy, and not in the like icky thing that we like to point to when we think of white supremacy, like those people over there that are the Ku Klux Klan or something, although I'm sure there have been Presbyterians in the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
But the more kind of, you know, this kind of virtue of whiteness, the professionalism. You know, Presbyterians signed the Declaration of Independence, and you know, Presbyterians have been presidents, and it's been a denomination of respectability, and it's been a real carrier of whiteness, and so for us in particular to be the ones that were willing to do this hard work and find our way to it felt especially important in this particular moment in America.
Yeah.
Because Presbyterians have been some of the founding fathers, and we've built a lot of the higher education system in this country. We've built a lot of ways that white supremacy has been a part of our socialization in this country that is kind of invisible. You know, the things that people can think are good and virtuous, and to be able to say in humility, yeah, it doesn't mean we're all a bunch of terrible people, but it means that our denomination has propped up some things that has done harm to our black siblings. And so just being able to be honest about that. And everybody in that room wasn't in the same place about that.
No.
But we could come to a, you know, a resonance about it because we all were able to connect to, yes, what happened with this land from our 2025 eyes to look back, that wasn't right. And we have a chance now to in some way repair that. And for all the different reasons people came to it, yes, this is what we should do.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of when we talk about reparations, when we talk about reparative justice, a lot of when people hear the word immediately, well, I didn't own slaves.
Right.
Or I'm this too. And it's like, okay, and when you look at the history, the facts, and you can recognize, well, the reason you are in your position, let's say that you are someone that lives paycheck to paycheck, but you're not living paycheck to paycheck because your race.
Right.
Because there were systems in place that forced you to live paycheck to paycheck. Now, you may be experiencing some of the harms for the systems that were put in place to keep black people down. But one of the things that we do know is that if the person at the very bottom of the totem pole can be elevated, everyone above gets elevated as well. And if we look at the 1% of America, there is more than enough money that all of us could be thriving.
All of us could be less pressed, less on the edge, less, frankly, just unhealthy, like living in this way that is not good for us as human beings. Yeah. I mean, during our rent support, we see every walk of life, everybody, in so many different kinds of situations, and there are so many people living on the edge, one paycheck away from falling off the cliff. And that's the part that if we can start to see our shared situation in that, and to understand how race was used to keep that going, and to convince people that somehow race is a way they can secure a better spot for themselves if they're in white bodies. It's actually the opposite. And so finding a way for people to start to see, oh, now I see myself in this story a little bit differently.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time that fear is the easiest disruptor. If I can teach you to fear something, you will always go against your best interest in it.
Because it's a limbic response. It's not rational. It's your lizard brain.
Yeah. And so when, again, like thinking of Helene, the beauty that came out of that, because really all of our fears became the same fear. And so we recognized how to collectively work together to make sure that we could make that fear be something less than, right? So we had the fear of bad water. We had the fear of not being able to eat. And so we were able to collectively come together and make sure we had water, that we had food. It wasn't a matter of, was it a 5-star restaurant? Was it steak? Was it lamb? Was it all veggie? Was it grass-fed? Was it organic? It was, do you have something so I can feed my family, or that I can feed myself with?
Right.
And we didn't care where it was coming from.
No, we didn't. And that's another thing our bodies learned through that. Like, oh, my surroundings are more trustworthy than I knew. Mm-hmm. Like those neighbors that I haven't talked to for 5 years came and cut that tree down so I could get out of my house. You know, like the way that we learned how to trust our surroundings in a different way.
Yeah.
It was interesting how in the media, you know, people were saying, well, I heard in Asheville that, you know, people are held up at gunpoint for gas. And I'm like, I mean, maybe that happened in 1 or 2 spots. I don't know. But I mean, hundreds of people. I saw people carrying big gas tanks on their back to get it to somebody else. Like, we literally have gas in our sanctuary so people can have it. Like, there were so many more stories. And the thing that, the gift for me, again, a manifestation of the human grace for me was, you know what, TV, media, people not from, you're not going to tell me how to feel about my neighbors.
Yeah. And that is the beauty, and that is the part that I hope people lean into more.
Yeah.
That
we know each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The news, how many times will the news push the positive
Right.
when the negative sells so well?
That's right. They have a vested interest in what bleeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, one of the things that you hear a lot in my community is about black on black crime and that black love is not something that's real, that we don't marry each other, we don't love each other, black fathers are not present. And I'm like, we've been taught to believe that about ourselves so that while we're also trying to fight off every other group, we can have internal fighting. But when you take a second and you look back, I'm like, I see examples of black love all the time.
Exactly.
I see examples of amazing black fathers all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, like
yes.
all of these things that we're taught to believe are false, black on black crime.
Right.
If you live
in proximity,
So
like
you're-
we never call it white on white crime. Right. And if you live around a lot of white people and you're going to kill somebody, you're probably going to kill a white person. If you live around a lot of black people and you're in conflict with somebody, it's probably going to be a black person.
I'm like, but we're taught to believe and condition our brains. And if we look at the numbers, really,
Yeah.
when we look at, even when they say black people or everyone is on welfare or they're taking advantage of the system, I'm like, well, actually, if we look at statistics,
Right. More white people are on welfare.
you know, and also the biggest problem and the biggest question people should be asking is, why do you have to be on that?
That's right.
That should actually be the question.
Right.
Why are you working every day and not able to afford where you live, food, clothing, health care? Like, those are the questions that we need to be asking.
Yeah, but instead we've learned to spend our energy on, why is that person panhandling? What they must be lazy, when it's like, no, why is that person panhandling? Why is our economy so brutal? Why is it so hard on so many people that work very hard?
And if they know welfare, you can only make a certain amount before
you lose your benefits.
The benefits are gone.
Yeah.
And so if my fear is experiencing homelessness, or my fear is not being able to feed my kids, or my fear is not being able to actually get treatment for whatever is going on with me because I need the Medicaid, I'm going to do what I have to do to keep the benefit.
That's a very rational choice.
You know, but it's like we don't think about it on a rational level because what's spewed, what's pushed out to us over and over to condition our brains to believe is that, oh no, it's you taking advantage, when really it's like, no, it's all of us against the same system.
Exactly. We have there is an enemy that we could focus on.
Yeah.
So where did these values come from for you? Where did the values around reparative justice, healing the human family, being a part of movements for liberation, where does that come from?
it's gonna sound so cliche, but I don't think I've ever been anything else. From a little girl, just what I saw growing up, I I don't know, like it was growing up in low income housing, a single parent household, where when I was younger, like my mom's side of the family, we were all pretty close to each other. And a lot of times collectively, we had to pool resources together. Like I remember my grandfather, we would go, it's a little, now that I say it out loud, but we used to go to French Broad and like fish.
Yeah.
And we could bring it back to the neighborhood, and literally everybody ate. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just my family.
Right.
It was my mom, my aunt out gutting the fish, cleaning the fish.
Yeah.
Someone's bringing oils, someone's seasoning, and we're just having a fish fry.
Everybody's bringing their
Everybody's
stuff.
bringing
Yeah.
their stuff. It
Yeah.
was the neighborhood granny. We would eat at her house on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. It was the fact that like we had this mailbox. I couldn't go past the mailbox. And my mom didn't even have to be outside to see if I went past the mailbox, because someone was gonna call her or say, girl, you better get back there. You know your mom don't play that. Like it literally, community taught me grace, love, values, humanity.
Reciprocity.
Yes, like it was, I did not know we were poor because we were so rich in community and family. Like I didn't know
Yeah.
the struggle
Yeah.
of not being able to eat. Like it was always food.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Yeah.
always someone around to be able to be in space with. But also too, like within church, and like my grandmother on my dad's side, she was always a person that just, I don't know, like just gave love like I've never seen love been given before. She could meet you and just know what you needed in that moment.
Yeah.
And it was just like, where are you coming from? Like who are, like, it's amazing the way like she could pick up the phone and call me and say everything that I needed to hear in that moment. And I've never said it to anybody.
Wow.
I could see her out, and she was stern, but she was stern in love. I've never known her to have an enemy. Never known her to be mean-spirited, to love people even when I knew they didn't necessarily love her.
Yeah.
And so I think like those examples, my mom of being a person who, again, did not have everything, but the things that she had, she made so rich.
Yeah.
Being able to like come, I knew no matter what, like in school, if there was a project that had to be done and it included any way to be artistic, I was gonna have the best one. Because my mom, she was going to figure it out. But she was going to figure it out. Like it was just the experiences that I was able to have were absolutely amazing. She taught me hustle, like that you literally, you can obtain anything that you want to obtain. But not only do you have to believe in yourself, you have to be willing to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And so like those moments where like I would go to some kind of camp over the summer. She would do hair, like extra hair. She always worked part-time jobs, but she would do like hair, or she would pick up another part-time job, or she would learn to do nails or paint for people, or, you know, make airbrush jackets or whatever
Right.
she had to do to make sure that I experienced
You had what you
something.
needed.
Yeah, and I experienced something in what I was used to seeing, because, you know, I did grow up in a space where I saw a murder-suicide in one day. I saw drug raids. I saw police raids. I saw overdoses. All of those were my normal experiences. So I was desensitized to them. That literally was my safety, seeing that. And so when I would get those experiences where I left out of that, that was actually when I felt unsafe, because I didn't know those.
Yeah, right.
But it taught me that I can actually receive joy and receive a place that's not rooted in pain and trauma, and teach my body to make that the norm and make the trauma
Right.
the abnormal.
Right. And I mean, the more we learn about trauma, the more we know that, when you experience it, if you have support around you to kind of put it somewhere,
Yeah.
it really can affect the way it takes up a space within you. Like, it's too much too fast for too long without enough. But if you have some support, somebody to kind of reflect back, like what that was, or where we're going to put that in our kind of meaning making as a family, or whatever, it makes a huge difference in the way that it's long-term impact.
Yeah. And it's in a space of growing up in a Black family, like talking about emotions, talking about certain, we knew we loved each other,
Right.
but saying the word, like saying I love you, wasn't a norm. Showing affection in that way wasn't a normal thing. But I also knew that was because we weren't conditioned to give love to one another, right? And so, like, all of those experiences, I feel like, have just created who I am, to make sure that even if I'm not doing the best in showing it, I can teach and expose people to spaces where we can make this a normal thing. We can actually pass down these healthy tactics, these healthy norms.
Right.
This is actually the tradition that we can pass down versus the trauma that lives in our bones and has been placed into our blood, into our DNA by people who stole us from our land, brought us here only to serve them, and then make us believe that we are the uneducated ones.
Or that you are deficient in some way.
Yeah, when literally.
Right, right. You're extra proficient because of that. I mean, like,
we will no longer work for free.
Exactly. Well, and I think, like, that's a beautiful way to put it, that within these epigenetics, within this generational trauma, is also this really deep generational wisdom. And not just like survival techniques, but actually, like, here's how we find joy. Here's what it is to live, in really dangerous times, and find joy. And that is one of the gifts that I feel like, I think that can also sometimes scare or repulse people in white bodies, because we sold out. We sold out our joy, to just be proximate to wealth, to respectability, to whatever it is, to be white. And we left behind our culture. We left behind any kind of identity around, like, where we come from.
Yeah.
And it's a very bland kind of callous existence, because it kind of squeezes the joy out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always told people, and even my kids, like, even though we're taught to believe that Blackness is somehow a threat or bad, I would never want to be anything other than it.
Right.
Right. It's just the creativity, the intuitive spaces that we have, the way that I can go into a space and feel my ancestors, the way that, like, hurricane disaster can hit, and I just
Know what to do.
What to do.
Yes.
The fact that where this country is right now, and people always say, "How are you not scared?" And it's like, my ancestors have dealt with so much worse.
Exactly.
And
yes.
I literally embody them. I know that if they can make it out of physical chains, it is no way that I can't make it out of someone wanting to put mental chains or restraints on us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yes.
like, we're able to, we have more resources at our fingertips now than my ancestors had back then. And we can be creative. And we're not going to be forced into being reactive. We're going to be proactive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to reach across aisles and make sure that every other person knows that together,
Right. Right.
we can't be stopped.
Right. And you're not going to let your humanity be stolen again. Like somebody trying to steal your humanity is not going to happen.
Or anybody else's.
Right. Because that would be stealing yours if you
Exactly.
started to see other people not
Yeah.
as human. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, like, if you had to name, you already talked about some of your family members who really inspired you. Are there, in the kind of thought world of liberation, of Black liberation theology, or, you know, Black movements for Black liberation, can you think of someone or a book or a kind of body of knowledge that has really deeply informed you or inspired how you go about this work?
I would say that, believe it or not, when I was little, one of my favorite movies to watch was The Color Purple.
Oh, yeah.
And I know but I remember in The Color Purple, just the way that Celie was taught to believe she was ugly, she was not worthy, that she had to simply do and be whatever people told her she had to do and be.
Right.
And see that transition for her
Yeah.
to find her own identity and to find that self-love and that journey to liberation, essentially. Like, that has been very powerful for me when I think about just some of my own internal battles and living with depression and all of those things, and like seeing someone that literally had everyone in her immediate touch be everything she thought she wasn't, and to come out in the end to a person that was very vibrant and lovable, and being able to showcase that even when she was told that she was nothing. I think about that all the time, and I lean into that a lot. There are so many different books and so many different people in society. I can say that I'm a really big art person. Specifically, I love poetry. And so I think of like Langston Hughes, and I think of the Harlem Renaissance, and I think of some more radical people that I probably won't name because I've heard that these names would be, but what I will say is she recently passed, and reading her books and being able to see her stand so firm in her values and in her morals, even when the world was against her. Seeing people like Malcolm X, where he just loved his community.
Yeah.
The Black Panthers, I had the wonderful opportunity to actually be mentored by a woman who was a part of the Black Panthers. And just the way that in everything they did, it was rooted in, I am going to make sure that my community is safe, that my community is fed, and that my community is loved. And so it's just so many different, like we look at just so many movements across America, but also when you look at Cuba, when you look at the Dominican, when you look at all of these other areas, when you look at Sudan, when you look at all these different places that have fought against systems, it fills me.
Yes.
It fills me, and it reminds me that people power is
flame,
everything.
the internal
Literally,
flame.
it lights it in me.
It does.
It lights it in me when I watch old movies. When one book that I was recently introduced to, my mom actually got it for me. I believe it was for my birthday last year. We were fused. And it is absolutely, like when you just talk about the fact that we literally refuse to answer to the name, to the situation, to the circumstance that you are trying to force on us. We refuse it. And our refusal may look different at different moments, but it's all refusal. You know, it is the fact that we know in this movement, it is going to take sacrifice. We know in this movement, it's going to take grit. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take people giving their all. But we also know when we look at young people, when we look at our elders, that this fight is not just for one, right? And so, like, that is just what I really root myself in. I root myself in Jesus, and knowing that that is also a person that the world hated. You know, like, and this is someone that was going out and just giving love.
That's right.
And so all of those, like my spirit, my readings in the Bible, every piece of it just is that building block, that internal building block for me. You know, every time that I turn on my music and I think of blues and I think of jazz, and even when I think of like folk music, and I'm like, when I think of every type of music that is tied to my people. It's tied to my people. Right? And so in every bit of it, I hear my people. I hear my ancestors telling me that this fight may seem hard, but it's worth it. And we are with you.
That's right. You're not alone. And that there's power in that. And it comes through in your leadership. You know, there's a clarity that is contagious. You know, I believe that. Well, as we wrap up this first episode of The Human Grace, when I lived out in Oakland, California, back in the day, and we were doing anti-racism work there in Oakland, which is, I loved living there. And it's such a beautiful city, so diverse, and so many Black people, just amazing people doing amazing things. And some of my parishioners in the church that I pastored, which was very multiracial, had grown up in the South. And they said that Oakland was actually kind of harder to live in, because in the South, you knew where you were supposed to be. In Oakland, you would think, oh, everybody's able to be wherever, and then it would be a real gut punch when you realized, oh no, there's some of the same things here. But some of the most beautiful times there of really building relationship and experiencing liberation in real time were these moments of really hearing about somebody's sense of self. And one of the ways we would go in on that is just like, what's the story of your name? Your whole name.
Yeah.
What is the story of your whole name? All the parts to your name.
Well, Tori, that name is literally because my mom thought I was going to be a boy.
Ah.
And so it was Torres. And when I came out, they just dropped a Z. But interesting enough,
Yeah.
I have a little cousin who his middle name is Torres. So it's always like, you're named after me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you totally are a Tory.
Yeah, and it fits.
It really
fits.
does
When I
fit.
was younger, though, I wanted a more exciting name because people would always say Victoria or something like that, and I'm like, it's really just Tori.
It's just Tory.
But so then I would tell people my name was Atoriana because I wanted something.
You wanted something a little bit magnificent.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then my middle name, I want to say my grandmother picked that.
Okay.
And my last name.
What's your middle name?
Is Kiana.
Kiana. Okay.
Yeah, and then my last
And
name.
is that your alter ego?
That is. Kiana is the person that is.
If she needs to come out, something's going on.
She's definitely your more radical. She. You know what?
She
It's
take her
interesting.
earrings off.
She you know, like how they want you to think Martin Luther King was just this very peaceful person that brought people together and just kumbaya.
Yeah.
No, that was another side of him, the side
That's
that we're
right.
not taught. And so I like to think Tori is my, Reverend Martin Luther King. And Kiana is like MLK. You know, that's Martin.
That's right.
You know?
Well, and you can't do this work without having that part.
Yeah,
That part needs to be there because she keeps you safe sometimes.
Yeah. And then my last name, going through genealogy cohort that we did, realizing that last name, I don't know, I mean, I know who it belongs to, but it's my great-grandfather's last name. But in going through that process, you find out some hard truths.
Yes.
And so I am now trying to figure out what is that name that's actually bloodline.
Yeah.
And I don't know that yet. You know, but I carry the name of who growing up I believe was my great-grandfather. But I also know that there is a blood last name out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm still searching for that one.
Yeah.
I'm still searching for that one. But
Yeah.
White is the last name, and it is the last name that my father gave, and my grandfather, my great-grandfather. It goes down lines, but also it just speaks to sometimes within our communities when we do the work, we uncover things.
And some things are lost. In this story, there's real loss and real harm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Garrison.
And Garrison is my married name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I couldn't get rid of the white.
Yeah.
So I was like,
You
okay.
lived with it a long time.
Yeah, I was like, we can hyphenate,
Yeah.
But Garrison is my last name. That most people now, I just go by Tori Garrison most of the time. But that's my husband's last name, and the last name that I choose to carry and make great
And make a family.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all the things.
Well, is there anything else you really want to say in this historic first episode of The Human Grace?
I just want to thank you for being who you are.
Aw.
Like I tell people all the time, if you want to know, you know how you have people that say, I'm an ally. But if you truly want to meet one in Asheville, it is Reverend Marcia Shoop.
Oh, thank you, Tori.
Like
That's an honor.
Literally, I think about when I pick up the phone, you you are coming.
I will be there.
And you are coming full force. But also, too, you have an amazing way of being able to also step back and not feel like you, just because you're in the space, that you have to take up the space. And you lean into other people, and the way that you showcase that in every day, not just when the cameras are on, is beautiful. And it reminds me that there are people out here who truly just want to do the work.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yes.
you fight behind the scenes, you know, the tears, the everything, and know that if people just knew how much you fight for the underdog, like, so I just want to give you your flowers. Like,
Well, thank
and I know that
you.
was like something you wasn't expecting, but
Yeah.
that is
Well, thank
one of
you.
the reasons why you became RSAA Space Shifter of the Year. You know, like,
Thank you.
your
That's
ability
such an honor.
to fight and stand up and take up space when you have to take up space, but also release space when you need to release space, is not a skill everyone has. And so I just am always so gracious to you for being literally the example of a space shifter, of a truly remarkable human being, and someone that I think will go down in the history books as just like, look, she did it. She absolutely did it. And there are, I think also too, like, your ability to call out. And it's not just, you will call out any person, you know, and I love that about you. I absolutely love that about you, because it's not many people who are willing to do that. There's not even many Black people who are willing to do that. A lot of times we sugarcoat the people we love or our friends because we're afraid of losing them. And I remember one time you were like, well, if you really love them, why would you let them keep doing things the way they're doing it if you know it's not right? So I carry that with me when I check people. And even when I check myself, I'm like,
Thank you.
yeah, so.
Well, all that means so much to me. That is my whole reason for being. And that comes, I think, from my ancestors, that both from a world they couldn't see but wanted to, and also from a world that they mistakenly helped to create. I feel very driven and very clear, and I've never wavered. Just like you said, most of your life, for me, most of my life, just that is a very clear call that I have. And it is the joy of my life to be in this work with you and other of my siblings, and who live in Black bodies and allow me to be a part of your life. Like, that is the biggest honor of my life. And so I wouldn't be me without you. And I just think I'm really excited about us.
Yeah.
And our community,
Yes.
and what's happening here.
Yes.
And you were just the perfect first guest
Well,
on
it
the
was an
human
honor.
grace.
Yes.
It's real.
It is.
It's real.
And giving grace is something that is the most human thing you can do.
Amen.
And really, it doesn't cost you anything.
It actually gives you some dividends that nothing else does, because it is reclaiming your humanity when you do that.
It's so much more time consuming, and it takes up, I believe it takes off marks of your life to just be angry and upset and just, you know, just
Yeah.
give grace.
Yes.
Give grace.
Back to liberation. Well, thank you, Tori.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love
and I'm
you.
so grateful
Yes.
that you're here and alive
Yes.
and doing your thing.
Likewise.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us with your stories of growth and inspiration at thehumangrace@gcpcusa.org. We'd also love to hear from you in our comments. Make sure you let us know how you're doing, and we'll see you next time.